All right, joining me now is Tom Mulcair, CTV News political commentator and former NDP leader. Tom, good to see you. Good to have you here.
Good to be with you, Renee.
Now, the finance minister under a lot of pressure at the moment, presenting the fall economic statement Monday. What are you expecting to see?
Well, I was listening to the guests that you had on earlier, including a guy that I quite know very well and like, Jim Sanford. I think he was being a bit optimistic if he believes that Canadians don't care, that they blow through the $40 billion maximum deficit that the Liberals have been announcing. I don't think, Renee, that the average Canadian spends a lot of time thinking about debt to GDP ratio. That's a bit complicated. What people will notice, because they're having to cut back on their own expenses, times are tough, people are having a hard time putting groceries on the table, and if the government can't hold to its own $40 billion prediction, it can do all it wants to talk to Canadians about the overall situation. Canadians will just say, you're telling us that we have to belt tighten because times are tough, and you are not capable of managing your own budget. So Chrystia Freeland's in a bit of a tough spot. There are going to be a lot of people in that lockup tomorrow because that's the way the system goes. You lock up economists, experts, people who advise unions like Jim Stafford. You're going to have people in a room talking about these big issues all day long, asking questions of the experts from the finance department. And then at 4 o'clock, Chrystia Freeland will give the final document. It's not quite a budget, but it's a mini budget. And it gives a snapshot of the current economic situation across the country. And I think that Freeland is going to be in a spot of trouble tomorrow. She's going to try to put the best possible spin on what is a very bad situation because this government simply doesn't know how to control spending. Right now, we're in the middle of an 8-week tax holiday that benefits very few people, that is a massive burden on the average small business, but it was concocted not by the finance department. That was leaked out to the papers last week. It was done in the Prime Minister's office because it's a communications strategy. It's not an economic strategy. So this is the problem that Chrystia Freeland, who's a very serious type, has had. She's always got the best experts with her in finance, but then she's got people in the Prime Minister's office saying, okay, we need some bells and whistles. We need to doll this thing up. We need to have some selling points because we're really, 22 points behind the Conservatives and it can't stay there. So we'll try to use goodies to buy votes, and it's just not working.
Are we going to learn more tomorrow about how Canada intends to deal with Trump's tariff threat? And what do you expect to be coming out of that?
I think you're completely right on that, Renee. I do think that what's going to be used as a bit of a distraction is the current very volatile situation with the Americans. I was listening to Bill Morneau before, and I got the chance to read the transcript of his conversation with Vassy Kapelos on CTV Question Period that's going to be up today. And it's quite interesting because what he does is he gives very sage advice, and then you just sort of go, oh yeah, this is the guy that Trudeau fired. And then everything started to go south in terms of Canada's finances. And it really is a sad thing that somebody of his wisdom and experience isn't around to try to help right now. Now, don't get me wrong. I think that Chrystia Freeland is an outstanding administrator, but I don't think she's a very good at selling stuff. And this is going to be a very tough sell for Trudeau tomorrow. He's going to try to convince Canadians that things aren't as bad as they look, and they actually are. By the way, I did catch a very long interview on French news TV. It came out on Friday, and it was interesting with Pierre Poilievre. Poilievre made several times the same reference that the Liberals are playing fast and loose with the financial facts. And we'll see whether or not during that lengthy lockup, people are able to poke holes in some of the numbers that the Liberals are going to be putting up. It will soon leak out, by the way. This is the stage that we're in right now, where people in different departments are going to start leaking stuff as we head into this next election. The senior bureaucrats know that the government is about to change, and they're going to be trying to protect themselves. And if there has been skullduggery in preparing these numbers, believe me, it's going to come out in short order.
Ooh, okay. We'll watch for that. We'll have to leave it there. Tom, thank you very much for being here as always.
All the best, Renee. Take care.
That is Tom Mulcair, our CTV News political commentator and former NDP leader.